Austin. Motherfuck! I yank out my hand that's being wedged between the back seat and the new car seat. I'm cramped in the back of Holly's SUV with a car seat jamming into my gut, trying to attach it to two metal prongs hiding in the crease of the seat. Never mind the SATs. They should get high school students to try installing a car seat. If they can figure it out, they're a certified fucking genius in my book. You can't use that kind of language when the baby comes, Holly says. I glance over my shoulder. She's rubbing her swollen stomach behind me, watching with eagle eyes to make sure I get this thing installed just right. Good thing she's not here yet, I say. Have you thought about those names I gave you yet? Thankfully, she can't see my face. I love my wife, but I hate all the names she's come up with. I don't want to name my daughter after a fruit, a tree, a flower, a season, or anything else. Whatever happened to Katie, Kim, or Jennifer? Those are good, solid names, but she wants something original. You know, the kind that doesn't even make the top 200 baby name list kind of name. I'm not sure about Riley, I say. I'd like my daughter to spell her name before she's 10. The silence behind me is a scary thing. I should have kept my mouth shut. Your parents were so original. Why can't we have that? Maybe we should name ours Petrie then. More silence. Guess not. Holly's lost a little of her sense of humor at this stage of her pregnancy. In the beginning, I think she was so elated about finally becoming pregnant, she took the morning sickness and the fact that she traveled to and from work with her own barf bags like a champ. Then there are the bouts of melancholy late at night while I'm watching television in bed and she's reading some book she thinks is going to prepare her to become a mother. I'll catch her rubbing and staring at her swollen belly. I'll ask her what's wrong, and she'll confess her worry that she'll only experience pregnancy once, so she needs to be sure to really savor this time in her life, which is part of why I think she's a little grumpier these days. She can't wait to meet our daughter, but it means the end of her pregnancy in just a couple weeks. Let's go through the book again, I suggest, crawling out from the back seat after having successfully installed the car seat. I wanted a name before the shower so people could have things embroidered or made with her name on it. Juno made sure all of our colors were listed on the invitation if anyone wanted to get personal with their gifts. Good thing Savannah and Liam ended up finding out what the sex of the baby is. I rock the seat back and forth to make sure it's secure. How two metal hooks can secure the most precious cargo I'll ever haul, I have no idea. How do you think Savannah got him to agree to that? Holly laughs, leaning in close to inspect whether I did a good job. I'll admit I was surprised, too. Liam had dug his heels in about wanting it to be a surprise, and she'd agreed at first. With Savannah's inherent need to control, I thought for sure she'd have everything for the first year of the baby's life ready to go by the time she was 6 months pregnant. But I think it was all part of her plan, biding her time until she could get him to agree. Savannah gets Liam to do a lot of things I'm surprised about. I slide out of the way because Holly wants me to, but doesn't want to seem like she doesn't trust my ability to keep our child safe. It's amazing how you get to know someone's nonverbal communications the longer you're married. She does the same thing I did with the car seat and inspects all around as though I might have missed something. Looks good. I chuckle. Thanks. She turns in my laugh. What? Nothing, just that she's my daughter too. Do you think I wouldn't make sure she's safe? Holly shuts the car door, and I wrap her in my arms. We've mastered the side hug since she hit the 3rd trimester. I was just checking, she says. Uh-huh. She swats at my stomach, but doesn't look up because she knows exactly what she was doing. What do you want for dinner tonight? I ask. She shrugs. Is ice cream an answer? Holly told me she'd read that the baby will love what the mother craved during pregnancy, so our baby will probably open an ice cream parlor because Holly only wants ice cream, but only vanilla with candy mixed in. Isn't the baby craving steak yet? With Holly's aversion to eating a big juicy steak after I grilled some rarer than normal and she saw blood, I've resorted to eating only the Salisbury steak they serve when I visit Grandma Dory at the Northern Lights retirement home. The sacrifices we make for the ones we love. Sorry. I nod because missing steak isn't equivalent to carrying a 10-pound bowling ball around in your stomach all day. Holly's doing the heavy lifting here. It was her body that grew bruised and tender from all the shots, her body on the doctor's bed constantly having ultrasounds, her arms poked with a needle every other day to draw blood. She's been through hell for us to have a baby, so if I don't eat steak for the rest of my life, it's okay. I put my arm around her shoulders, walking us through the garage. It's okay, you name it and it's yours. She leans her head against my shoulder, way too proud to admit how tired she is, and gives me her sweet puppy dog eyes. Which candy? I ask. She laughs. Reese's peanut butter cups. Done. We walk back inside the house. It was Timothy and Elizabeth Bailey's house first, my parents. We've renovated from top to bottom, with the exception of a few bedrooms. Miles is at the door, and Daisy lays in her bed. When he tries to jump on Holly, I say, "Get down, Miles." How will we keep him away from the baby? She pets him and nuzzles her nose against his. He'll be gentle. Gentle as a hyper elephant. No, you'll be good to the baby, right, Miles? She scratches behind his ear, his favorite spot. She pets Daisy, whose body goes limp and falls deeper into her bed. Holly walks to the couch and picks up the baby name book again. I hate that damn thing. I'm going to search again, because pretty soon she's going to be born, and we're going to be those parents holding baby Bailey. I shrug. I don't think that's so bad. Her name is important. The last thing Holly needs is to be stressed out about the name of our baby. I don't want to introduce her to everyone like that. She rubs her belly with her free hand, staring down as if the baby is going to whisper what she wants to be named. The least I can do for my first motherly duty is name my child. The edge in her tone says now is not the time to argue this point. It's taken many a breakdown over the past months for me to figure that one out. How about a hot bath before the ice cream dinner? I'll come up and we'll talk names. She smiles and sighs. That sounds amazing. I give her a kiss on the temple and a pat on the stomach before walking up the stairs to draw her bath. While she soaks, I figure I'll lay in bed and catch some of the spring training games, but the room to my right pulls me in. The room screams girl. 4 pale pink walls, a white crib with light yellow bedding. The spot above her crib is blank until we name her. The new changing table and dresser we bought 2 weeks ago are white as well. I never really cared what we had, especially after we tried for so long. And I, too, fear that this might be our only baby. I know Holly wants our daughter to have siblings because she didn't have any. Growing up with 8 siblings might have been a pain in my ass sometimes, but I wouldn't change a thing. The doctors say this pregnancy could restart her system. They've seen cases where people have gotten pregnant after rounds of IVF, but nothing is guaranteed. The room looks like a unicorn threw up in it, as if she's coming out of the womb wearing a tutu and hair bows. I'm not sure how great of a girl dad I'll be, but one thing's for certain. She'll know how to throw a killer fastball. Chapter 2. Wyatt. I'm doing it, aren't I ask, ignoring Brooklyn's eyes on the back of my head, probably plotting my death. I've read that sometimes a woman's personality changes when she's pregnant, and that's definitely been the case in our home. My sweet bride has turned to that thing from the Alien movie. She critiques everything, and went so far as to tell me I don't love my child if I don't paint his room myself. At first I thought she was pissed off because we were having a boy. One look at Brooklyn, and everyone knows she's a girl mom. She's meant to shower our child with pretty clothes and cute hairstyles, take her shopping for prom dresses, and enjoy spa trips together. She's not the get down and dirty type. What's going to happen when our boy brings her his first worm or outside creature? I'm determined that my son will not experience my upbringing of concrete parks in the middle of a city. My son will explore the outdoors. We'll do it together. The gray isn't the one I gave you. Did you give the right number to Jack? I clenched my jaw. Jack said he matched it. It doesn't look the same. It's lighter. Maybe you should call him. Don't get snippy with me. I'm just saying the gray was darker. I pushed the roller up and down the wall, trying to have a light touch and feeling incompetent. I didn't paint the rest of my house because I suck at painting. I'm a firm believer everyone has their talents, and painting isn't one of mine. But here I am so that Brooklyn doesn't go into early labor from being angry that I hired professionals to decorate our nursery. This should have been done weeks ago. I drop the roller, sit on the floor, and face her. I'm about to go on strike. Her angry stance loosens. I know, okay? I'm cranky today. She stands with her hands on her hips, jutting out her very pregnant stomach. She's cranky every day, but I don't say that. Do you think this is how I'm going to be permanently now? The hiccup in her voice makes me stand. God, I hope not. I take her in my arms as close as we can get. She's beautiful pregnant, but I miss cradling her in my arms. No, I think your hormones are on overload right now. She hiccups a sob. What if it's like me now? I mean, I'm going to nurse and all the same hormones. I kiss the top of her head. You're going to be fine. After a few minutes, her body shifts away from me and her eyes examine the room. Thank you for painting and not hiring someone. I stare at all the edging I still have to do, not to mention some sticker thing she ordered online that I have to apply to the wall after it dries. Elephants and stars and moons is the theme she picked. Let's be honest, the kid is going to grow out of this within a year, and I'm probably going to have to paint and decorate again to prove my love. By the time he's in college, I could probably get a side job as a painter. You're welcome. I smile at my wife. Oh, and don't forget the crib. Also, Holly and Austin already put in their car seats. We need to do that too. My mom went into labor early with Kingston and Juno, so we don't want to take any chances. They say you take after your mother usually. I will not be those parents who don't have the car seat in. A drop of sweat drips down my back as my anxiety grows. It will all be finished in time. I have my doubts, though. Maybe she wishes she married someone like her brothers, because I've watched more how-to YouTube videos during her last trimester than I care to admit, and I'm starting to feel as though I'm not a real man. You're the best. She kisses my cheek. I'll go make you some lunch. She leaves the room, and I take the opportunity to sit down and look at the shit job I've done. The streak marks that some guy on YouTube told me was because I pushed too hard on the roller, and apparently the only solution is to sand it down and repaint. No, thank you. I have an entire hotel to run. All the fears that keep me up at night resurface. Will I be enough for my son? My father and I had a strained relationship. His need for success was always more important than his need to be a present father. I swore from the moment Brooklyn told me she was pregnant that I would never be that man. But how much do genetics play into it? I'm at Glacier Point too much lately, doing what I promised I wouldn't, micromanaging my staff. Brooklyn insists that I need to make this nursery for our son in order for it to be special, and maybe she's right. I pick up the paint roller and paint again just to get out of my own head, until a huge crash from downstairs causes me to stop mid-stroke and run. Chapter 3. Liam. Savannah's at the head of the conference table when I arrive at Bailey Timber near the end of the workday. Liam? Grandma Dory's there too, and she crooks her finger, so I bend down and she kisses and hugs me. This pregnancy has made her so nice, she remarks, patting my arm. I say nothing because Savannah's within earshot. She's worried that pregnancy has made her soft because she cries at commercials now. Let's keep her pregnant, Grandma Dory jokes. I wouldn't mind Savannah being pregnant again. She'd take that pen that's in her hand and stab me in the throat if she heard me say that, though, which is why I'm quietly waiting for her to finish talking to the company lawyer. Her distraction lets me eat her up like I used to, catalog all her features. I've begged and pleaded with her to let me paint her, but she keeps putting it off because she feels as though she's ugly now. She's sexy as hell, and it's not that her skin glows or her tits are fuller and bigger. It's the fact that she's growing our baby. A piece of her and me together is inside her. I never thought the moment would come where I would stand witness to this. Sex has been a challenge as her stomach got bigger. She wasn't pleased this morning when she found out she could no longer look down and see her toes, which is why I decided to surprise her today. "Hey, Liam, good to see you." Dan puts his hand out and I shake it. "Any day now, huh?" "Bite your tongue, Dan. We have 3 more weeks," Savannah says. I love the fact that she says we. Dan laughs and closes the door behind him, which is my signal to swivel my chair around and meet my wife at the end of the table. My lips hit her cheek, and she leads my hand to her belly. "She's been kicking all day." It's hard to explain how happy I am when I feel our baby move. I never really thought about what it would be like to have a baby of my own. I guess I always thought about after the baby was born, never what it would be like during the 9 months of pregnancy. I'd have my hand permanently affixed to Savannah's stomach if she'd allow me, which we all know she won't. I bend down and whisper, "Hey, sweet girl." The baby's kicking subdues a bit. She just wanted her daddy. Savannah smiles at me. "So did her mommy. Ready for dinner?" "I assume you are?" She laughs. "I'm starving." "Did you eat lunch?" I ask. She rolls her eyes, but it's been a hard lesson for her to learn that she needs to take time away from working to nourish the baby. She gets tunnel vision and doesn't come up for air. "Yes, Dad." I fiddle with the tie of her dress. "Would you be mad if I untied this?" "I would if you did it here." I pull the tie a little, and she shoots me her sternest look, but it's sweet compared to how she used to look at me before we got together. "Model for me?" She pulls away from me. "I told you, no. I'm bloated and have gained so much weight because I eat the entire grocery store aisle of potato chips daily. She couldn't have cravings for sweets. It had to be salty." I laugh because I just bought 5 bags of salt and vinegar chips at the store. Savannah will be done with them by week's end. Maybe she's a little like her mom. Salty. I shrug. "I hope she's a little sweet like her daddy, too." "Dinner?" I ask. "Yeah, I need some grease and salt. Force me to have carrots tomorrow, okay?" She opens the door to the conference room. "Sure," I say, following her. Walking to her office, we run into Grandma Dory again, where she's bent over Savannah's new assistant's desk with a fistful of money. No, I have Brooklyn first, Savannah, and then Holly. Brooklyn is in such a sour mood lately, she needs to get that baby out of her." "Grandma?" Savannah asks, as though she has no idea what her grandma is doing. I laugh behind her, and that sweet Savannah from the conference room disappears. She glares at me over her shoulder. "Are you betting on when we'll all deliver?" Grandma Dory looks over her granddaughter's shoulder to me and smiles. "That I am." She turns back to Dedra. "You got that, right?" Dedra bites her lip, looking at Savannah. We all wait for the explosion. Each of us but Grandma Dory. She doesn't care. Then Savannah holds her hand out toward me. "I'm definitely delivering first. I say me, Brooklyn, then Holly." There's the competitive wife I know and love. I pass her some money from my wallet. "We've got one thing in common. Holly is last," Grandma Dory says. Dedra smiles, her relief obvious. "Would you like to bet on times or days or pounds?" Savannah sits down. "Seriously? Does no one work around here?" She surprises us all when she puts her hand out for more money and bets that our little girl's birth weight will be precisely 7 pounds, 3 ounces. I help her stand afterward, and she waddles into her office. Don't get me wrong, I love it. Her waddle is cute. Dory leans in close. "See, get her pregnant again right away. She's a delight." I shake my head. I'll do what I can. Of course, our sex life hasn't been affected at all. If anything, she's so horny all the time, I was exhausted during her second trimester. "Let's go." Savannah comes out of her office with her coat in her hands and purse hanging off her shoulder. No computer or work to bring home. These are the good nights. I take her coat because she'll never wear it even though spring is late to come this year, and we head to dinner. After Savannah eats a greasy burger, fries, and onion rings at Lard Have Mercy, we drive home. My sweet ride comes into view when I pull in, though it's covered by a cloth tarp. Sav climbs out of my new truck with help from me holding her arm as she steps onto the running board I installed after I purchased it. I love my car, but the seatbelts in the back weren't safe enough for a baby. It's stored away for date nights and when our daughter is old enough. She points at the empty car seat boxes by the trash can. You already installed them? In your car and the truck, I say. She laughs as we walk into the house. I didn't even notice when I got in. From what I hear, Austin had a horrible time with theirs. Why didn't he call me? I unlock the door, but she takes my hand, leading me around the side of the house. Every man wants to install his own baby car seat. She's right. I wouldn't allow anyone else to do that job. Her hand grows tighter around mine, and I shiver from the cool breeze. Meanwhile, she walks around with only her wrap dress on as though it's 80 degrees out. We get to the barn and she leans against the wood siding, waiting for me to get my keys out. What are we doing out here? I ask. She pushes off the wood and puts her arms around me, kissing my jaw. I want you to paint me, but be flattering. Don't go making it super realistic with my cankles and big butt. I open up the barn and lead her in before shutting the door and locking it back up. I wish you saw yourself through my eyes. You're the most incredibly sexy woman. I kiss her neck, my fingers fiddling with the tie of her dress. You have to say that. It's your baby I'm growing inside me. Nah, do you think I'd want to paint you if you were hideous? I chuckle. She smacks my shoulder and I chuckle in her ear, my tongue sliding around her earlobe as I unbutton the flap of the dress, and it falls open, baring her naked stomach to me. I fall to my knees, cradle her belly in my hands, and press a light kiss to it. You're beautiful. Her smile says she believes me. I unhook her bra, letting it fall between us. After leading her to the couch, I strip off my shirt and get the canvas ready. How long will this take? She asks. An hour, maybe. I set up my paintbrushes. Why? Because staring at you with your shirt off and that fresh tattoo of my name on your skin is making me want to do something else on this couch. Her tongue slides out to wet her lip. I drop the paintbrush and head over to my wife. I can paint her tomorrow. After all, a happy wife means a happy life.
Chapter 4. Harley. I sit on the floor of my bathroom and tell Siri to set the timer for 3 minutes. Gnawing at my fingers, I try to block out all the negatives and only think of the positives. Is there ever really a perfect time to have a baby? No. The fact that I've locked myself in my bathroom instead of involving him says I'm not sure how he'll handle the news. I mean, he can't be surprised if I am pregnant, right? If you have unprotected sex, there's obviously a chance this could happen. My hand falls to my stomach as I wonder if, and slightly hope, there's a little one in there, regardless of what anyone outside this bathroom thinks. The buzzer on my phone goes off. I inhale a deep breath before I pick the test up off the counter's edge. Bringing it down, I read the results and smile, releasing a relieved breath. Chapter 5. Sedona. The party store is out of blue balloons. How does that happen? I ask, dropping the bags filled with 1,000,000 pink balloons. No, blue. Without them, we're not representing Brooklyn, Juno says. Someone call Wyatt. He'll have them flown in. Phoenix jokes while she and Maverick straighten a tablecloth on the folding table. When you decide to have a triple baby shower, there's only one place in town that can hold that many people. Thankfully, Cleo and Denver have an airplane hangar. Oh, wait, I'll call Kingston. He's in Anchorage. I step out of the hangar and pull out my phone. Before I have his name on the screen, I hear Phoenix sucking in helium and talking to Maverick. I swear, sometimes I wonder how it's possible we're twins. There are 3 missed calls from Jameson that I ignored last night after I flew in. The red notification circle feels like a blinking red light wanting me to give it the attention it needs. Later, I tell myself, and I dial Kingston. You back in Lake Starlight? He answers. I laugh at my brother's ability to never bother with semantics like greetings. I am. Awesome. I'm just pulling out of the station now. I gotta change. This is casual, right? Before you head back here, can you stop at a party store in Anchorage and grab some blue balloons? They didn't have any at the one in town. Sure. Great, thanks. Wait, what's up with Jameson? Kingston never asks me personal questions. Mostly because he never wants me to pry into his affairs. The fact that he's still pining away for Stella is supposed to be top secret, but we all know it. At least Phoenix, Juno, and I do. He liked one of Stella's posts on Instagram the other day, so we know he follows her, which cannot be good. Why? I clear my throat. I mean, what do you mean?
The guys and I were watching ESPN last night. One of the guys at the station, Lou, he's really into soccer and noticed Jameson wasn't playing. He didn't get traded, did he?
No. He hurt his ankle during the last game.
Oh, I swear I didn't see him on the bench either.
Okay, Kingston, I get the point. Well, you know how they only have the cameras at certain angles. He was there. After a minute, Kingston says,
I'm glad he wasn't traded. I know the long distance between the two of you before was hard. Okay, I'm almost at the party store. Anything else?
I step back into the hangar. Do we need anything else from the party store in Anchorage? Phoenix inhales helium. More helium? Then she giggles and Maverick laughs at his one-day stepmom. Think we're good, I say.
Tell Phoenix to save some for the rest of us. I'll drop off the balloons before I change.
Cool. Thanks, King, I say. We hang up, and I throw my phone into my purse before digging out the baby confetti to put on each table. Kingston's gonna grab some blue balloons. Good, Juno says from her task of arranging the dessert table. I'm just getting the table ready for Greta.
Is she bringing any donuts or cookies?
Maverick asks from across the room where he and Phoenix are now putting photo picture pops by the rented phone booth. Who's in charge of games again? I ask.
Me.
Denver walks in with metal keg bins. This isn't a keg party, Juno says, her voice missing its usual niceness. Cleo walks in right after him with pieces of paper in hand. What games do you have planned? I ask. Denver winks and clicks his tongue on the roof of his mouth, as though he's just waiting until we hear how awesome they are.
We've got open door number 1, Cleo.
He gives his best Bob Barker impersonation. Cleo rolls her eyes. I'm not a part of this. She drops the papers on the table and walks over to us.
Babe.
Denver drops the bin and takes the tape-enlarged poster board, positioning it on the wall. Denver, Phoenix scolds, her hand covering Maverick's eyes. I'm fairly sure Juno and I close our eyes and open them slowly. Sure enough, it's a printout of a giant vulva.
Phoenix,
Maverick whines and attempts to pry her fingers off his eyes. Get it off the wall, Phoenix bites out, plastering Maverick's back to her chest, one of her hands over his eyes and the other across his stomach. I told you it was inappropriate, Cleo sing-songs and disappears back out the door. What on earth? Juno asks. Seeing that Denver has no plans of taking it down, Phoenix steps forward with Maverick, his eyes still covered until they're by the doors. Head into the office while I have a conversation with Uncle Denver. When the door shuts behind Maverick, Phoenix swats Denver with both hands. What were you thinking? Denver dodges and weaves out of the way.
Come on, it's pin the sperm on the vulva.
Yep, of course. The small pieces of papers Cleo was holding are cut out sperm. How much time did you spend on this? Juno asks.
I was up until 2 cutting out the sperms.
I pick up one. You glued googly eyes on them? Denver smiles proudly.
Of course.
The rest of us sit there and stare at him as we have most of our life, baffled at how he's biologically related to us. I'm thinking the game could go in the storage room or something, I suggest, before Phoenix loses her shit. Although stepmomhood has calmed her wild ways, she still has low patience when it comes to Denver's antics.
Fine, but it was going to be the highlight of the night.
Denver takes the tape off the wall, and Juno helps him carry the sperm. Phoenix sits down at the table. Are we really going to ask people if they want to go into a closet to play a game? Want me to go get Maverick? She waves. Nah, I'm sure he's playing some game on Denver's computer. The kid knows his password since Maverick had to fix something for him the other day. I sit next to her. You look tired. I am. My schedule is grueling, but totally worth it. Next month we'll just be working on the album, so it will be calmer. She straightens her back. Enough about me. You've been tight-lipped since you arrived. She narrows her eyes at me. That's the thing about being a twin. She already knows something's up. I knew when things weren't going well with her in LA before she came home. Nothing. I worry about Juno, though. Phoenix leans back in her chair, crosses her arms, and raises her eyebrows at me. I might stay home for a little while, help out with all the babies. Her expression doesn't change. My lip trembles because I can't fool my twin. I press my lips together, but she sees it and her hand covers mine. What happened, Sedona? I scan the room. It's so pretty for my sisters and Holly's baby shower. I am not going to ruin it with my own drama. Can we talk about it later? Come over tonight. Spend the night at my place? I've been staying with Juno since Kingston was on shift and they're both single, but I need Phoenix's advice. Yeah, okay. She squeezes my hand and pulls me into a chair hug. Am I going to want to fly to New York City and knee him in the balls? You'd have to go to Scotland. She pulls back from our embrace, looking worried, and my nose tickles from the rush of tears that want to spill. The best thing about Phoenix is she knows me better than anyone. That thought alone has scared me since she got with Griffin. Do I know her the best out of everyone still? There are probably things she shares with Griffin that I have no idea about. Bobbing for nipples? Juno asks Denver as they walk out of the storage locker. Where did you find these games? What happened to eating a jar of baby food and guessing how many candies are in a baby bottle? Phoenix is quick to let me go because if she gives them the idea that there's something wrong, then pretty soon Grandma Dory will end up on my ass about it. Callista runs into the hangar with Dion right on her heels and Phoebe waddling after. All three are pushing strollers with baby dolls inside. Harley follows, her skin looking pasty and her hair thrown into a bun. She's wearing yoga pants and a torn sweatshirt. Why do you need all these strollers and babies, Denver? Harley asks. All of us turn our heads in his direction, but his mischievous smile says it all.
Chapter 6. Kingston. I open the door of the party supply place for a mom and her daughter with a huge bunch of pink and silver balloons. Inside the store is a line of 20 people waiting for one lonely sales associate who looks like a high schooler. Scanning the aisle signs, I search for balloons. I'm sure I can flirt my way to the front of the line if all I have is a bag of blue balloons. Bailey, a guy calls as I walk by one aisle. I step back, assuming it's a guy from the station. Unfortunately, it's not a guy from the station. Owen, I say. Don't sound too excited. He puts his arm around the girl he's with. He's delusional to think I want everything of his. I only wanted one thing of his my entire life. I just got off a shift. You're a firefighter? The girl asks, her eyes focusing on my jacket. I could say yeah and excuse myself from this conversation. That would be the right thing to do. Call me immature after this stunt, but my history with Owen is long. Smoke jumper during the summer, firefighter during winter. Her gaze soaks me in again, except this time her body shifts away from Owen. And you get paid shit money for putting your life on the line, Owen says. At least I don't smell like fish every day. You're on call 24/7 during the summer, talk about sucking. You're on a boat with a bunch of dudes for months at a time. I raise my eyebrows. He opens his mouth and shuts it. I'm not naive enough to think he won't come up with something. When all else fails, he'll go for the jugular. Are you guys friends or not? The girl laughs awkwardly. Does this girl think we're competing for her or something? She's wrong. The girl we're still competing over has moved on without a glance back at either of us. We are. Kingston's just pissed because I dated the girl he wanted all through high school. Slow healing wound, I guess. Owen's smug look should be stripped away by my fist. What are you doing at a party store? I ask, purposely ignoring his jab so it looks as though that wound is healed. It hasn't, but there's a lot Owen doesn't know. Things I'll never tell him. My sister is having a baby, the girl exclaims. I'm throwing her a shower, and Owen came to help carry the bags. I pat him on the shoulder. He's good for that, using his muscles instead of his brain. My dig at Owen's intelligence breezes by the girl, but not Owen, who scowls. Aren't like all your sisters pregnant? He asks. Jealous? He always loved coming to my house because of my sisters. If I wanted to be a real jerk, I could talk about Phoenix being a pop star and Griffin, who's a popular music producer. The girl would probably abandon Owen and run into my arms, but she's not the girl I want. Poor Liam. Savannah has to be a bear pregnant. I shrug. The girl turns to peruse some items on the shelf, and I snag 3 bags of blue balloons. Actually, she's pretty low-key. Everyone's betting on how soon Liam knocks her up again to keep her that way. Owen laughs. She's scary. I nod a few times, and he rocks back on his heels. I lift the bags of balloons. I'm on balloon duty for their shower, so I should go before one of them calls. Cool. He shakes my hand. Nice meeting you, I say to the girl. She turns, and her eyes zoom in on my jacket again. You're a Bailey? Like from Bailey Timber? Owen groans. He's always hated that people in our family are held in high regard. I asked him once when his jealousy was at peak level if he'd rather have his parents die for the exchange. He shut up pretty quick. I am, I say.
Oh, my friend just started working there.
Awesome. I backstep down the aisle, wanting to get away from this conversation.
She was telling me the sad story about your parents. I'm sorry.
I shrug as if I don't care that my parents died. It was like 15 years ago. Then I do the math in my head. It will be 15 years ago this year. Fuck. Grandma D is definitely going to want to do something big to honor their memory.
That long? You were young when it happened.
I was... Owen beats me to it. He was 10. The memory of hiding in his treehouse fills my head. I couldn't stand to be at my house during those weeks immediately after the accident. The funeral preparations, Austin returning home, Rome and Denver moments away from winding up in jail from all the stupid shit they were pulling. I smile at Owen and he smiles back. He's probably remembering the same things I am. The secret meals he brought me when his parents watched television after dinner, the sleeping bag, and the fact that he slept out there with me even though he was scared to death of spiders, the traps we made for when Austin came to take me home, even him kicking Austin in the shin when Austin successfully carried me out of the treehouse. Go, maybe we'll grab a beer next week or something. Owen nods toward the end of the aisle. Yeah, okay. Good seeing you. You too. I head to the checkout, thankful the line is much shorter than when I arrived. Hearing Phoenix sucking the helium out of the tank, I figured she won't be the only one, so I opt to have them all blown up. While I wait, I pull out my phone, scanning through Instagram posts until my thumb pauses on one of Stella. She's still beautiful. She was at a race for lupus, the picture of her crossing the finish line of a 5K, which is huge for her since she hated all exercise when she was younger. Her smile is contagious, and I smile involuntarily at seeing her happy. It's a stark difference from when she's around me. When she sees me, the past comes back and reminds her of what transpired between us, a time she'd like to forget, which sucks for me. I click the heart button but don't comment. After shutting off my phone, I pocket it and grab the balloons to celebrate my family's happily ever afters. One day I need to move on and stop comparing all women to Stella, but today isn't that day. Chapter 7. Rome. I pull the truck to a stop in front of the hangar and see that Harley's minivan is already parked. She's not supposed to be here, I tell Colin. We climb out of the truck, and he opens the back doors to unload all the food we prepared. Dada! Phoebe spots me first and walks out of the hangar, but Dion runs faster and makes Phoebe lose her footing, falling onto the gravel parking lot. Dion, I sigh. The boy never knows who's around him or what he's destroying. I catch him in my arms and walk us over to Phoebe, who's now on her bum, crying. I place Dion down on the gravel. You have to keep an eye out for your little sister. Dion nods and throws a football to Maverick, who's also out front. Hey, Maverick, I say, picking up Phoebe. Her small arms wrap tightly around my neck. I'll never grow tired of this stage, the one where she thinks her daddy is her savior. Callista is like a 6-year-old turning 16 lately. I see her gravitating toward Harley, intrigued by her makeup and playing dress-up. Hey, Uncle Rome. Maverick tosses the football back to Dion without any gusto. Sports just aren't the kid's thing. Don't forget, Dion, you have to do something Maverick wants to do too, I say. Dion nods, but it's never gonna happen. You okay, sweet girl? I run my hand down Phoebe's back while I enter the hangar. She wiggles to get free when she spots her Uncle Denver filling buckets with water. "Wawa!" she yells and runs to Denver. "Ladies," I bow to 3 of my sisters, Harley and Cleo, when I find them all sitting at a table. I see the setup has stalled. "We're waiting for the blue balloons from Kingston," Juno sneers. The woman's mood lately is like a cat's. One minute she's all loving and sweet, and the next she's hissing and swatting with her paws. I find my way over to Harley. She looks run down, but I'm not going to say anything. The other morning she bit my head off when I asked her to pass the pepper. "Hey, babe," I say, kissing her cheek. "Hey." "Yeah, I think I'll just bring in the food." "Cleo, where did they deliver the fridge?" "I had a fridge delivered here for the party because I won't have people get sick from spoiled food." Cleo is staring at Denver, pretending to dunk Phoebe in the water. My daughter giggles uncontrollably every time he lowers her closer. "Cleo?" I ask again. She glances at me, but seems to have no idea what I asked. "The refrigerator?" She smiles and nods, standing. "We had them put it by the storage locker." She leads me to the other side of the hangar, her eyes continuing to stray toward Denver and Phoebe interacting. Maybe someone has baby fever. God knows Denver will think of it as a competition whenever they do get married and start trying. Colin walks in with the trays of food. "You've done amazing." Harley snags a caprese kebab off the tray and eats it, grabbing one more before Colin can get away. "Hungry?" I ask, chuckling. "No time to eat," she mumbles around a mouthful of food. I slide my arm around Harley's back and pull her to me. "Tomorrow I've got the kids, so you can sleep in." It's been crazy with the restaurant. We're opening a second location in Anchorage, which has meant me traveling every day. Once it's open, it will be worth it. I'll lose Colin at the Lake Starlight location so he can be the head chef in Anchorage, but it's all part of the plan to secure the future I want for my family. "Look!" Callista interrupts us. I look down to see that my daughter has stuffed a balloon up her shirt. Harley laughs, and I knock the balloon out of her belly. "Dad," she whines. Lately, she's mixed the dad and the daddy. I fucking hate it, but Harley tells me it's all part of her growing older. I still hate it. You've seen your mom pregnant. It's not fun, is it? I look at Harley, whose smile drops. Not like she's pissed off at me or anything, but she's not happy either. Ask your aunts today how great they feel. They can't even see their swollen ankles. Harley grips my arm so hard, I have no choice but to tear my arm out of her grasp. She stares at me as if she's telepathically telling me how to handle this situation, and I'm doing a piss-poor job. What am I supposed to say? Pregnancy is fucking fantastic? Just count down the days until you two can carry a baby in your tummy? Fuck no. This is my daughter. Then my mind descends into thoughts of how she would get pregnant, which means she has to... I rub my temples. God help me, the next one better be a boy. Callista picks up the balloon, puts it back under her shirt, and holds one hand to her back, extending her stomach, and waddles over to her aunts, who all laugh. "We're having more?" Harley asks. I shrug, not really sure. We haven't talked about it, but then again, we didn't talk about it with Dion, or Phoebe, or Callista. "Last week you were talking about getting the big V," she reminds me. That's because our house was all screams and tantrums like our children had been possessed. All I wanted was some Sunday morning sex with my wife, and Dion was banging on the door because Callista had changed the television channel, which woke up Phoebe. I shrug. I was pissed. "And now? Do you really think I should have a procedure that would permanently stop us from having more? Wasn't it just 6 months ago when my sisters announced their pregnancies that we were having sex like crazy so you could be pregnant with them?" I laugh. The one and only time we couldn't get pregnant was when we were actually trying. "Yeah, but Sunday morning sex isn't going to happen all that often if we keep having babies. Birth control doesn't work for us. Maybe we need to talk about what we want." Her face is serious, with no hint of a smile. I know she's been tired and frustrated lately, what with not being able to take on as many massage clients as she wants. I slide my arms behind her back and pull her toward me. Okay, we'll talk about it tomorrow. Okay, she says. There's something off with her. I think it's time for a date night. Chapter 8. Denver. After I set up all the games, I go back to my office, open up the last drawer on the right, and dig behind a pile of papers I know Cleo would never go through. It's safer than the house, for sure. She can be nosy. The diamond sparkles under the fluorescent light. I've thought of a million ways to ask her to marry me. Take her up into the mountains, back to the first place we stayed overnight together. I could drop to a knee in the middle of the ice cave, or when we're alone in a tent where no witnesses can capture our most precious moment. None of it seems right. None of it fits us. The door from the outside opens, and I slam the box shut and drop it into the bottom drawer. Cleo walks into the office. She hasn't been herself all day. She's done what's been asked of her in regard to hanging streamers and opening the tables and chairs we rented, but she has no enthusiasm for it. Come sit on Daddy's lap. I slide out my chair and pat my leg. She rolls her eyes. See what I mean? Back in the day, she would have just scolded me, but she would have come over. Come on. She slowly walks over to me, and when she gets closer, I capture her so she falls into my lap. Talk to me. I move her hair off her neck, kissing her. Her back sinks into my chest. It's just all the changes. 3 babies at once? Are you sure there's nothing else? She squirms to get away, but I hold her firm around her stomach. It's me. You can tell me anything. She's silent. Cleo, I have to go help with the shower. I just came in to get my phone. Babe. She wiggles and I release her, so she goes to stand at her desk across from me. Okay, fine, I can take a hint. Maybe you can talk to one of my sisters then. She says nothing, fiddling with her phone. Nothing grates on me more than silence, and Cleo knows this. If she doesn't tell me, I can't fix it, and I don't want to celebrate tonight with her being grumpy. Just tell me. My voice comes out louder than intended. She looks up at me from the phone as a tear slips from her eye. I stand and walk around to her side of the desk, taking her in my arms. Why are you crying? What's the matter? She sobs into my chest, and I soothe her as much as I can without knowing why she's crying in the first place. You have to tell me now. She shakes her head. It's embarrassing. Nothing should be embarrassing with me. I wore a bright green Speedo that my dick didn't fit into in front of you. Remember that? She laughs. How about the time I forgot the flint when we went on that excursion and it took me 2 hours to start a fire with 2 sticks? That was aired on national television, and I'm supposed to be a professional survivalist. Her laugh increases. I place my forefinger under her chin, forcing her to look at me. Her eyes are red and swollen from the short stint of tears. She shakes her head. I don't care what it is, just tell me. Her forehead falls onto my chest, and her arms lay limp at her sides. I feel like we're stalled, she mumbles, but I catch it. Stalled? I sit on the edge of her desk and hold her out in front of me so I can see her. She shifts her weight from side to side, staring at her feet. What do you mean stalled? Like everyone's life is moving forward, and here we are. The business is great. We booked more clients this year than the previous 10. The show is starting its 3rd season, and they're talking about renewing us for another 3. She nods. I know business is great. She peeks up at me through her eyelashes. I'm always a little slow on the uptake. Damn it. She's questioning my commitment. I knew I'd waited too long to propose. I didn't want to scare her off by doing it too early, and now I've done the opposite. Of course she's upset. Are you saying you want more? I ask. She chews on the inside of her lip and peeks up again. She shrugs. Cleo? This is so embarrassing, and now you're going to propose just to keep me, even though you don't want to marry me. We'll get married and have kids, and in 5 or 10 years, whenever that itch comes, you'll wake up and realize I pressured you into marrying me." She rambles on, and I allow her to because her pacing allows me to walk over to my desk and open up the drawer. I wanted to make this magical, special, a story she'd tell our children. Me in a suit, on bended knee, in the middle of some garden, the ring box open as she walked in wearing a dress that I'd bought and had delivered to her. But that's not us. We were business partners before we were best friends, and best friends before we were lovers. She's my confidant, and the only one I want standing by my side. This business is what brought us together in the first place, so why shouldn't it be now? "Cleo," I say to stop her, dropping down on bended knee. She catches a glimpse of me from the corner of her eye. "Get up." I chuckle. "No." "Yes, get up. You are not proposing to me after I just rambled on like some lunatic. I know we have it good. I do." I don't get up. "Cleo Dawson?" She breaks the distance and tries to pull me up by my arms. "Don't do it, Denver. Not now. Don't." I can't stop laughing at her. "Will you?" Her hand lands over my mouth. "Nope, don't say it." "Will you marry me?" I mumble under her hand. Her hand drops as she falls to the floor in front of me. "Denver." I take her left hand. "I'm not doing this because of what you said. I'm doing this because I've tried to plan the perfect time to propose, but this is it. It should be here, where it all began. I love you, Cleo Dawson, and I want you to be by my side for the rest of our lives. It dawned on me just now that I can't give you the perfect proposal because our life is going to be far from perfect. We're going to fight, and if you're still with me in 50 years, I'll be just as surprised as you." "But—" I place my finger in front of her lips. "It's impolite to talk during your proposal." She giggles. "Thank God, I'm not bombing this. You're it for me. You're the lucky lady who gets to be Mrs. Denver Bailey." She knocks her shoulder with mine and shakes her head. "I meant I'm the lucky bastard who gets to be Mr. Cleo Dawson Bailey." She smiles, and I say, "But you have to say yes first." She puts her hands on my cheeks, staring into my eyes as though there's a truth there. "How long have you had that ring?" "About 6 months." "You really want to do this?" she whispers. "Since when do you know me to do something I don't want to do?" I take the ring out of the box and bring her left hand between us. "Cleo Dawson, will you completely ruin your life and marry me?" She laughs, and her forehead falls to mine. "Yes." I slide the ring onto her finger. It's not nearly as big as I'd love her to have, but one day we'll upgrade. I promise I'll give you a happy life. "Denver?" "Yeah?" "Kiss me." I lean in and kiss my future wife, along with a few other things, while the rest of my family is busy organizing the baby shower.
Chapter 9. Juno. Kingston arrives late, but he's got all the blue balloons already blown up. What I'm more surprised to see is Celine from the Cozy Cottage Bed and Breakfast climbing down from his truck. I'd started to wonder if she was coming at all since most of the other townies have already arrived. I meet him and grab a bundle of the balloons. "Hi, Celine." "Juno, you look beautiful," she says. "You too," I say. She walks up the gravel walkway and through the hangar doors. "Why are you bringing Celine to the party?" "Kingston is like the rest of my brothers. He'll never decline a favor someone asks of him, which is wonderful, but if he's in communication with Celine, I worry that he could get sucked into all things Stella again. That would be about as good for him as if his hobby was snake charming."
"Her car wouldn't start, conked out. Found her on the side of the road," he says.
"Oh, and what did you talk about on the way over?" He blows out an annoyed breath.
"Give me a break, okay? We both kept Stella out of the conversation. Ever since Colton got engaged, you've been—"
He lets his words trail off because he'd never say I'm being a bitch. I am. I'm fully aware of it. Since Kingston has lived with me for years, I wouldn't be completely offended if he did call me out on it. All of my family members are shying away from asking me anything about Colton and his future wife. I know, okay? But all you had to do was pick up some blue balloons. I had to plan this entire thing. Kingston puts his arm around my shoulders.
"Hey, do you want to talk?"
I shake my head. Thanks, but it's done. There's nothing I can do to change it. He stops me before walking into the hangar, nudging me off to the side.
Do you honestly think if you told Colton you feel more than friendship for him that he'd still marry her?
I shrug.
Juno, the man loves you. He's crazy about you, always has been. But you pushed him into the friend zone for so long.
Exactly. I can't very well screw up his entire life now because I think I might like him more than a friend. What if it's only because he's taken? Kingston blows out a breath. He's annoyed. Probably because when Kingston sees something he wants, he goes for it. He doesn't let fear handicap him like I do. He almost tore his friendship with Owen apart to get Stella. I'm not built like him, and I don't think he understands why not.
It isn't because he's taken. He says it like, open your eyes, Juno.
I shrug and frown. It could be. We've been friends forever. Maybe I'm just afraid that our friendship will change now that he has someone in his life. My brother shakes his head.
If you're not going to say anything, then I suggest you suck it up, because he just pulled in with her.
My heart shrivels a bit and sinks to the depths of my stomach. I'll manage just fine, I say, and detour into the hangar without looking back.
What's up, Colt?
Kingston says behind me, purposely being loud, I imagine. Finally, the blue ones. Sedona takes them from my hands. Brooklyn is yet to arrive. I hand them off and beeline it toward the bar. I'm going to need something to take the edge off and get through this baby shower. Unfortunately, I run smack dab into Grandma Dory. Juno. Grandma, I say, trying to weave around her. She grabs my upper arms. How are you? You've been so depressed these last few months. I told you I could help you at work. You don't even have to pay me. I'm good. I don't have a lot of clients right now anyway. Truth is, my matchmaking business is dying a slow death. That's what happens when you stop believing in true love. Not that I'm in love with Colton. I'm definitely not. It's just a jealousy thing because he spends so much time with her. Then it's perfect. My eyes zero in on the bar. I need a drink so badly, something to numb this anxiety. What's perfect? Everyone always thinks young people need to find love, but the older generation needs love too. We're not dead yet. My stomach clenches. Grandma, are you telling me you want me to fix you up? She smacks my arm, rather hard. Juno Iris Bailey, I would never disrespect your grandfather like that. I wouldn't say it's disrespecting. You'd just be having a companion for... I stop talking, because from the look on her face, she might just haul off and smack me. Not me. Ethel and a few other ladies at game night. We were going to do a mixed game night, but it's hard to find men as you get older. They die too young. I nod. Are you expecting me to come to Northern Lights retirement home and do a rendition of the dating game? Her eyes light up. She's got to be kidding me. Perfect. Oh, they'd love it. I'll talk with Carolyn and we'll plan what night. Carolyn is the events planner at Northern Lights. I'll need to get to her first so that her schedule is packed and she can't fit me in. But for Grandma Dory, I nod. Okay, then we can talk logistics. We went antiquing in Greywall the other day. Ethel saw a man doing that Tai Chi stuff. She was very enamored with him. Maybe you could find him and bring him along. I stare at her for a moment. She's serious. Of course she is. Sure thing. I'll go to Greywall and wait for some man to come to the park and do Tai Chi. Then I'll convince him to get in the car with me to play the dating game at a retirement community. She scowls at my sarcasm. You know, I love you. But I don't like you right now. I'm trying to help you. She walks away, mumbling to herself about me being her toughest case. Whatever. The last thing I need is her getting even more involved in my life. I mindlessly walk toward the bar until I look up to find Colton and Bridget. She couldn't be more different than me physically. She's tall and rail thin with long dark hair that's usually pulled into a ponytail. I'm short, curvy, and known around Lake Starlight as the adopted Bailey, because I look like none of them. Truth is, I resemble Holly more than Austin.
Juno.
Colton spots me before I can get lost in the crowd again. I smack on my best smile, but Colton's lips dip into a frown. He knows me way too well. Hey, I say.
Can I get you a drink?
Colton asks. Bridget turns around with the drink Colton must have already gotten her. Juno, she says sweetly with her beautiful French accent. So good to see you. Bridget places her hands on my shoulders and bends to kiss each of my cheeks. I go along with the dramatic hello. You too. I force a smile. When the bartender hands Colton his beer, Colton stops the bartender from moving to the next customer.
I need a...
He stops and looks at me.
What's the drink today?
Bridget looks back and forth between us. It's not an inside joke. Everyone in my family knows I'm not a usual kind of girl when it comes to drinks. I'm really into flavored vodkas right now, I say. Colton smiles, his perfectly white teeth practically glowing.
Get her a strawberry lemonade. Strawberry vodka with lemonade. 3/4 ratio vodka.
A deep voice says before a large arm wraps around my shoulders. Colton's nostrils flare. I look to my side. Trey Gallagher. What are you doing here? I ask with a smile. This is about to get even more uncomfortable. Quick.
No hug?
Trey asks me. My throat coats with dryness and I raise up on my tiptoes to hug him. He swings me around before placing my feet back on the floor.
I'm here with Thorne, working on a new artist. Lucky you, we didn't get enough done, so I'm spending the night.
He winks one of his sparkling blue eyes. I ignore his innuendo. Well, lucky you get to be at a baby shower. Yippee.
Here you go, Juno.
Colton sets my drink in front of me.
I'm Colton.
He puts his hand out between us.
Nice to meet you. I think I met you before.
Trey bobs his head side to side as though he's trying to remember. And this is his fiancée, Bridget. She's from Paris, I say. Trey's eyes fall over her, and I'm fairly sure he's actively trying to keep his jaw off the floor and the drool in his mouth.
Hey.
They shake hands, too, but it's more Bridget putting her hand in his, all dainty and feminine. We all stand in a small circle in silence. I tip my cup to my lips and gulp.
Whoa. Killer.
Trey puts his hand on my drink. I was thirsty. I've been here all day, which, actually, I need to go check on my sister. I leave the group before anyone can object. Savannah's talking with Bailey timber people, so I stop at Rome and Harley, who both look at me as though I'm interrupting their conversation. Okay, I kind of am. Continue talking. I just needed to escape, I say. Harley looks over my shoulder as her hand runs down my arm. God, I'm so sick of the pitying looks everyone is giving me these days. I can tell by the way Rome is staring at me that I'm not welcome in their conversation. So I make an excuse about how I'm going to go check whether Brooklyn has arrived yet. I walk to the other side of the hangar and open the door to peek out in the parking lot, and lo and behold, Wyatt's pulling in. We're a half hour into this party, but at least now all of the guests of honor have arrived. The sooner we start this thing, the sooner we can all go home. Wyatt blows out a breath as he steps down from his fancy truck and rounds the front to open the door for Brooklyn. I wait patiently as he helps her climb down. Ridiculous. You have millions of dollars, and I have to worry every time I climb in and out of your truck whether I'm going to fall forward and injure our baby. Wyatt says nothing, but his hands clench at his sides. How's it going, you two? I ask. Ugh, don't even ask, Brooklyn says, stopping and hugging me when she comes through the door. It's beautiful. Thank you for organizing everything.
I'm kind of hoping for early delivery,
Wyatt whispers as he passes me.
Bar over there.
He points and sets off, a man on a mission. I feel you, bro. Don't go getting drunk. If my water breaks, I don't need a drunk dad to take care of, too, Brooklyn calls after him. I cringe as heads turn. Wyatt raises his hand and keeps walking. So, how's the pregnancy? I ask. I know I'm being bitchy, okay? Looks like we're 2 peas in a pod, except I get to drink. Thank God for that. I bring my cup to my mouth and toss back the rest of the contents. A few more of these, and I should be good. Chapter 10. Callista. Mommy and Daddy are talking in the corner with no smiles. No smiles means it's something serious. I ditch Grandma Dory and step closer.
Why would you ever think?
Daddy says. Mommy's shoulders rise and fall. I can't hear her, so I lean toward them. Then Daddy smiles. A big smile like when he comes home from work and we all run at him. Callista. Dion grabs my sleeve. Uncle Denver said we can play a game. I shrug him off and push him away. Daddy hugs Mommy, then places his hand on her belly. I know what that means. No! I stomp over to them. Callista, what's wrong? Mommy asks. No, I repeat. Daddy lowers down to my height.
Did something happen?
Why did you put your hand on Mommy's belly? I ask, my hands on my hips. Daddy looks up at Mommy.
I was just hugging Mommy.
No, you put your hand on her stomach like you did when Phoebe was in there. Daddy looks at Mommy. They both look around the room.
It's a secret. Can you keep a secret?
He asks me. I nod. It better be something other than another Phoebe in there. She cries too much. Mommy bends down too, and they pull me into a circle. Only us three. My favorite always.
You're going to be a big sister,
Daddy says. I'm already a big sister, I say.
Yes, but there's another baby in Mommy's stomach. You're going to be a big sister again,
Daddy says. I get really hot and my lips get kind of tight. A baby? Daddy and Mommy's smiles disappear, and Daddy pulls me in tighter.
Lower your voice, he says,
using that mean voice.
What was that, Callista?
Uncle Austin asks. He and Aunt Holly walk over. Mommy's having a baby. Again. I yell and stomp my foot.
Shut up,
Aunt Holly says.
Really?
Why does she look happy? Doesn't she know this is awful? Mommy's cheeks turn red. Go figure. You're ready to pop and now I get pregnant. I'm destined to always be pregnant alone. Aunt Holly laughs and hugs Mommy. I roll my eyes.
Man, we'll never catch up,
Uncle Austin says to Daddy, and they do something with their hands before hugging. All the rest of our family comes over and hugs Mommy and Daddy, saying things to me like, "Don't you love being a big sister?" or "Is there a three-peat big sister shirt?" I'm surrounded by a big circle of people and I cross my arms. I don't want to be a big sister again. Everyone looks at me, all laughing and smiling. Did they not hear me?
Yeah, I get what she's saying,
Uncle Austin says, patting me on the head. I never wanted Brooklyn, Aunt Savannah says. Daddy raises his hand.
I wanted Kingston. So did I,
Uncle Denver says.
A little brother to beat up on,
they say together. Oh, you could have twins, Aunt Phoenix says. Mommy puts her hand on her stomach and smiles at Daddy. Like 2 babies would be a good thing. That would be the worst thing ever. I stomp on Aunt Phoenix's foot. Ouch! She looks down at me. It's like the domino game Daddy tried to teach me, but Dion kept knocking it over. One by one, everyone looks at me and no one is smiling. Daddy reaches into the circle and pulls me out of the middle. Don't be too hard on her, Rome. She's just speaking her mind. Nothing wrong with that, Aunt Phoenix yells, but Daddy's leading us out of the party to the outside. Mommy follows us. When Daddy stops, he bends back down so his eyes can look at mine. Callista, why would you do that to Aunt Phoenix? Mommy asks because Daddy keeps shaking his head.
Who wants to bob for nipples?
Uncle Denver yells from inside. Mommy and Daddy ignore him. I don't want to share, I mumble. Mommy and Daddy look at one another again.
I know it's hard being the oldest,
Daddy says. No, you don't. You aren't the oldest. I miss everything. Last week when we went to the zoo, I wanted to see the polar bears you promised after lunch, but then Phoebe whined and threw up and we left. Daddy sits on the ground and puts me into his lap.
I'm sorry. You're right.
I lay my head on his shoulder and Mommy puts her fingers through my hair. She used to put it in curls with braids and ponytails. Now she tells me I'm big enough to brush it myself. How about we go to the zoo, just us 3, next weekend, Mommy says. Really? She nods. We'll get a babysitter for Dion and Phoebe. Daddy smiles at me.
Good.
I nod.
And me and Mommy will make sure to make time for all of you separately, but you can't stomp on someone's foot just because you don't like what they said. You have to apologize to Aunt Phoenix.
Okay. I frown. I hate when I have to tell people sorry. And I do hope you love this baby, Mommy says. I have no idea what it's like to be the oldest in a family, but I do know what it's like to not have a sibling. It's very lonely. I bet if you think really hard, you can probably think of a time you were happy to have Dion. I shrug.
Like the other day when Dion played Barbies with you, Daddy says.
Or how about when Mommy taught you how to put a ponytail in Phoebe's hair? Phoebe was so happy she hugged you and said you were the best sister, Mommy says. We don't know she said that, I say. No one understands Phoebe. She did. Your smile was pretty big, Mommy says. I smile too, remembering.
Don't forget that being a big sister can be a good thing.
Daddy kisses the top of my head.
We love you. Remember, you can always come to us.
Always, Mommy says, moving closer and putting her arm around Daddy and me. Love you too, I grumble.
Now go and enjoy the party,
Daddy says. I stand from his lap and run, but I stop right before the door and turn. Daddy and Mommy are kissing. Aunt Phoenix is talking with Uncle Griffin when I come up to her. I'm sorry, Aunt Phoenix, I say. She bends down to my level like everyone else and tucks a strand of hair behind my ear. Thanks for the apology, but I totally get it. Siblings are hard sometimes, but believe me, you'll be thankful when you're older. I stare at her because I know she's wrong. She laughs. Go play. I turn and run toward Dion to beat him to the game Uncle Denver is putting together. I run faster than him and get there first, so he cries. I guess sometimes it is better being the oldest one. Chapter 11. Phoenix. Callista runs off to play the game Denver is organizing with water and metal bins, like they're going to dive for apples at the fall fair.
So, what do you think? Ever want one?
Griffin wraps his arms around me and secures his hands on my stomach. Griffin's older than me and he hasn't pushed, but I also don't want him to feel as though I'm the only one who gets to make the decision. We're in this together. Yeah. I turn in his arms. Not that I'm not happy with Maverick. He smiles at me and his forehead falls to mine.
I know.
I lay my arms over his shoulders, winding my fingers through his hair. Do you want more kids?
With you? Absolutely. But I'd like us to find some calm in the storm that is Phoenix Bailey performer first. I don't say that because I want you to stop, but you have the tour coming up this summer. And I'd like us to enjoy traveling with Maverick first.
He's right. As strong as baby fever is in Lake Starlight these days, especially in the Bailey family, a baby will take priority over my career. We're going to start laying down tracks for the new album next month. His eyes light up.
That we are.
A baby might give us some inspiration.
I think he or she would for sure.
And Maverick is only getting older, more responsible, I say.
That he is.
Griffin's hands slide up my body, igniting the usual fire that burns for him.
There's that pesky thing called a tour coming up, though.
He cradles my cheeks in his palms.
I love you no matter if we have a baby next week, next year, in 10 years, or never. Don't rush this on my account.
I laugh.
I'm not some old guy, Phoenix, he says.
I'm well aware. I waggle my eyebrows.
Come on, let's go bob for nipples.
Griffin grabs my hand and pulls. Okay, but let's play our own version at home later. He pulls me to him and my hands land on his hard chest.
You don't have to ask me twice.
Denver stops the nipple game just as we get there and announces that the dads-to-be have to play a game of stroller derby.
Oh, this should be fun,
Griffin says, finding us a place on the sidelines. I'm standing in front of Griffin, wrapped in his arms, while Maverick stands in front of me with my arms wrapped around him. All three of the expectant fathers stand at the starting line, their wives next to them. Austin stretches his arms as if this race actually means something. Wyatt's back is slightly turned to Brooklyn, and Liam is lovingly hugging Savannah.
Okay.
Denver raises his hands to quiet the party, something only he can do.
The rules are simple. Your wife is going to birth the baby.
Groans commence.
I'm kidding, he says. The baby is in your stroller. You're going to run to the first station to put on some baby powder and a diaper. Once you finish, you strap your baby back in the stroller and run to station 2, where you're going to clothe the baby, including shoes.
Denver wickedly laughs.
Then you race back here and sit down to feed your baby.
Austin cracks his knuckles, and Holly kisses him on the cheek. Savannah and Liam are practically making out, while Brooklyn and Wyatt look like a couple who got thrown together and don't really know each other. I really hope if I become pregnant, I'm more like Savannah. And yes, that's the only time you'll hear me say that.
Everyone understand the rules?
Denver asks. All the guys wave like, let's get on with this.
Cleo will whistle to sound the bell,
Denver says. All three guys get in a running stance. I give my brother props for getting them to compete in this ridiculous event. Cleo raises her hand, putting her 2 fingers in her mouth to whistle. Stop! Holly steps in front of her husband. All the rest of the Baileys move in like a swarm of bees. Grandma Dory, even with her horrible vision, points at Cleo's hand. Cleo lowers her hand and looks at Denver. The ring is on her right hand, so maybe it's a promise ring? I really hope that at this stage of their relationship, Denver wasn't a complete tool and got her a promise ring instead of an engagement ring. "We're engaged," Denver says, and Cleo blushes. "But it's on your right hand?" I say. Juno leaves the pack, mumbling something about weddings, and heads to the bar. Seems she's doing her best to drown her sorrows in alcohol tonight. No judgment from me. We've all been there. We didn't want to ruin the big day for the moms-to-be. Cleo slides it off her right ring finger and onto her left. I had it turned around so it only looked like a band, but it keeps twirling. Grandma Dory goes to hug them, and Denver clearly assumes he'll be first, but she passes his open arms, moving right to Cleo. The crowd laughs, and Denver gives everyone an expression that makes them laugh harder. "We're so happy for you," Holly says. "This isn't our day. We're a family. Good news is good news no matter what." Holly shoots Harley a death glare for keeping the secret about the new baby. I think Holly's taken it upon herself to run a support group for the poor souls who marry into the Bailey family. After another round of hugs, Denver calls the dads-to-be back over. The three of them get ready at the starting line once more. Cleo brings her hand up to her mouth and whistles. "Go, Liam!" Savannah jumps up, holding her stomach as she yells for Liam like a cheerleader. Brooklyn claps for Wyatt. At least the pregnancy hasn't made her completely heartless. Holly's instructing Austin what to do just like a teacher would. Poor Liam and Wyatt. Austin's the oldest of 9, and he's changed diapers and clothed babies over the years. They're at a disadvantage for sure. Then again, Liam missed his calling as an engineer, and Wyatt has proven he has the patience of a saint dealing with Brooklyn these past 9 months. "Go, Liam!" Savannah screams. "Slow down the rah-rahs before you break someone's eardrum," I say. Though I have to admit her overly loud and obnoxious cheering has given Liam the lead. "Told you it'd be Liam who'd win," Griffin whispers in my ear. All 3 of the men end up on the second challenge together. "What do they win for making fools of themselves again?" I ask. "I guess just the title of winner," Sedona says from next to me with a shrug. All their dolls are dressed and put back in their strollers to make their way back over to their wives. Savannah's face is bright red, and she's holding her stomach with one arm as if she fears the baby might come out. Liam is in the lead. Austin and Wyatt only footsteps behind him. Denver's constant play-by-play has the entire room laughing and on the edge of their seats. Savannah's pacing around and so loud, most of the attention has turned to her, but just as Liam is about to cross the finish line, he slips on the edge of a puddle where Savannah just stood and slides all the way into the garage door of the hangar. He hits it with a bang and we all wince. "There's a puddle under Aunt Savannah," Maverick says. I hug him because although he's growing up so fast, he's still a kid who has no idea what a puddle of water has to do with a pregnant woman. "Your need to compete is ridiculous," Brooklyn says to Sav. Liam stands. "Babe, why didn't you say anything?" Savannah walks across the room, not waiting for him, though Liam catches up. "You won. I wasn't going to ruin that." I guarantee the smile on her face is because she's going to be the first out of the 3 to have the baby, I say. Savannah doesn't respond, waddling to Liam's truck. "She's going to use Mom's name as the baby's middle name," Austin grumbles. "What?" Denver asks. Austin shrugs. "We're both having girls. We both want to honor Mom and Dad, so we agreed whoever had their baby first could use Mom's name as her middle name." Liam's truck peels out of the parking lot as we all stare at it, before we realize we need to follow. Chaos reigns as we scramble to arrange where the kids are going and who's going with who, and it isn't until we're all leaving that I see Colton's SUV driving away with Juno in the passenger seat. Where the hell is his fiancée? Chapter 12. Savannah. One thing I love about Liam is his calmness, especially when everything around him is going to shit. It's something I gather he inherited from his father, who took care of all the details for my parents' funeral. He talked with catering and the funeral director, positioning us where we needed to be. So it shouldn't surprise me that my water broke and Liam nonchalantly walks me to the truck, helps me in, and drives to the hospital as though we're going to the lake for a Sunday picnic. For some reason, I thought he'd be frantic when I went into labor. Like running around searching for my suitcase and not stopping at red lights. Like this one, waiting for a family of 5 to cross in front of us. "Liam?" I say, channeling his calmness.
Yeah, babe?
His fingers tap to the beat of Beautiful Crazy by Luke Combs. I don't really want to have her in the truck. He glances over and his hand lands on my thigh.
Faster.
Faster, I say. Then he looks both ways, and after the man clears the crosswalk, Liam presses down on the gas, driving as I imagined he would. When he pulls into the circular drive of the emergency room entrance, he leaves the truck running and comes to open my door. A little more urgency in his step, but nothing too out of control. He holds me to his side as I hold my stomach and we walk into the emergency room, where he helps me into a wheelchair. "Oh!" the nurse exclaims. "The first Bailey is here. We had bets on whether we'd see any of you tonight." I look at her quizzically. Another nurse comes over.
"A storm is due to come in."
A male nurse joins our party. Does no one else need medical attention in Lake Starlight?
Plus, it's a full moon.
He points out the window.
Really?
Liam actually seems intrigued by this useless bit of information.
Her water broke.
The first nurse becomes giddy with excitement. Maybe she made the winning bet that it'd be me who came in today. Let's get you admitted, then Liam can fill out the paperwork. Thanks, Nancy, I say, reading her name tag.
Let me run and park the truck,
Liam says, and dashes back the way we came. Sure thing. She picks up the receiver of her phone. Might want to bring extra chairs into the waiting room. Savannah Bailey just came in and her water broke, she says into the phone. She hangs up as Liam returns and leans on the nurse's desk, not at all freaked out that this is happening. We're going to be responsible for a little person's life. All their basic needs will rest on our shoulders. How can he just stand there, smiling and conversing about dark clouds and full moons? My chest squeezes, and it feels harder to get a full breath of air. I kick Liam, and he tears himself away from the riveting conversation as if he wants to become a meteorologist or something.
You okay?
He asks. I lean forward and smile at the male nurse who seems to think I invited him into our conversation. I think this is a bad idea. Liam's forehead crinkles and he bends down to my level, his hands on my thighs.
What's a bad idea?
The whole baby thing. Why did we think we could do this? I change my mind. Liam laughs, all throaty and sexy.
A little late for that.
He touches my stomach.
She's coming. In about 18 hours, probably.
The male nurse chimes in. 18 hours? My water already broke. I look at him as if he doesn't know what he's talking about. He laughs, and I wish he was closer so I could kick him in the shin.
The fact that you haven't screamed once since being here means you're still in early labor. Even after your water breaks, it can be hours before active labor begins.
Well, shit. I guess I should have attended those Lamaze classes or maybe read a book. It's not too late for the book, though. Where's my phone? Get my phone. Liam digs into my purse and hands it to me.
Want to tell everyone you're doing okay?
Okay, we have a room for you, Savannah. Mike here will take you up to labor and delivery. Good luck, Nancy says. Mike rounds the edge of the desk and releases the brakes of my wheelchair. I search for the audiobook that was one of the top 10 recommended books to read before your baby is born and press play as we get into the elevator.
It's a little late for that,
Mike says, and laughs. I shoot Liam a look to say that if he laughs, he better prepare for my retaliation. He doesn't laugh. Smart man.
Oh, it's never too late,
Liam says. I smile at my sweet husband. Mike finally shuts up, thankfully. 15 minutes later, I'm in a robe and on the hospital bed with monitors on my belly. The nurse brings me in a cup of ice to suck on if I'm thirsty. Nurse Katie tells me I can't eat anything. I never ate at the party, I admit to Liam when she leaves the room. Go to the vending machine and grab me a candy bar.
Yeah, no.
He fiddles with the television remote, but the foot portion of my bed moves up. Hello, I'm pregnant and you're supposed to be doing everything to help me right now. I will never survive labor without food. He mindlessly scans through the channels.
There's nothing on.
I tear the remote out of his hand. Candy, bar, now! He smiles, and his hand brushes the hair from my forehead.
Nurse Katie said no.
Nurse Katie isn't my mom. She can't tell me what to do.
There's a reason you can't eat.
He sits on the edge of the bed, and for a moment, I think about pushing him off.
We have to listen to the nurses and doctors. You wouldn't want someone who doesn't know the first thing about business coming into Bailey Timber and dictating how things should go.
I narrow my eyes at him. I don't like you right now. He chuckles and kisses my cheek.
I didn't really think you'd like me very much during labor, so that's okay. I've had a lucky 9 months, though.
The doctor comes in. Not my doctor, mind you. A male doctor. Nurse Katie lifts the stirrups, and I sit up straighter on the bed, shutting my thighs. "Where's Dr. Baldwin?" I ask. The new doctor smiles sweetly, as if he totally understands why I might not be comfortable.
Unfortunately, she was on a day trip and they got caught in the storm that's headed our way. And you are?
Liam asks. He sits on his rolling chair, Nurse Katie trying to get my legs in the stirrups.
Dr. Hinkle. I'm the doctor on call.
Dr. Hinkle looks like he's fresh out of medical school. I shake my head at Liam, but he shrugs.
There are no other doctors available, he asks.
How old are you? I ask. Nurse Katie puts her hand on my arm. Dr. Hinkle is a great doctor. He's been here a while now and delivered a lot of babies. Nurse Katie is probably banging Dr. Hinkle.
Sorry, it's either me or no one.
He slides closer to where my legs should be open. Liam leaves my side and stands at the foot of the hospital bed, his arms crossed. I allow Nurse Katie to put my feet in the stirrups, and I slide to the edge of the bed. Dr. Hinkle looks behind him at Liam.
Just making sure there's no funny business, because that's mine.
Liam points between my legs. I shake my head at him, even though I'm slightly wooed that he's protective of a male doctor seeing my hoo-ha. Dr. Hinkle looks at me, his brown eyes wide with worry. But he does the examination and is very professional. Then Nurse Katie helps me get out of the stirrups.
You have a while to go. Sit tight. Sleep if you can to conserve your energy. I'll come and check on you in a bit.
Dr. Hinkle turns to leave. What's a while? I ask.
He circles back around. Hours. I suggest you get some rest now.
I look at Liam, who shrugs and grabs the remote attached to my bed, pulling up a chair next to me. I am not a patient woman, and I have a feeling this is going to be the longest night of my life. Chapter 13. Holly. Look at that lightning. I point at the sky through Austin's Jeep window.
I heard the storm might be bad. Are you sure you don't want to go home and rest?
We pull out of Lifetime Adventures along with the motorcade of Bailey's. No, I want to be there when their daughter is born. I've loved being pregnant with my 2 sisters-in-law, who feel more like true sisters. There's no way I would miss this birth. Once we've driven in silence for a minute, I say, "You can stop being sour now." Austin looks at me.
I'm the firstborn. I should get to use Mom's name for my daughter, not Savannah.
I laugh and place my hand on his thigh. Technically, Rome could have done it with Phoebe. It's no one's right. Just be happy that her name will live on with one of her grandchildren. He says nothing. I think this whole conversation has more to do with the fact that we've yet to agree on a name. He thinks we should go generic, and I want unique. What about Adley?
What's wrong with Jessica, Heather, or Emma?
I blow out a breath. Nothing's wrong with them. I just want something more unique. I repeat for the 100th time, I think Adley Bailey is a cute name.
Adley Bailey?
He says it out loud as though he's testing it.
They end in the same 3 letters.
I dig in my purse and grab the baby name book we've highlighted our top picks in. There are no names we agree on. Not one name is highlighted green. I used yellow highlighter and he used blue. We're so compatible except when it comes to this. Evan? I ask.
Absolutely not.
Brinley?
Same reasoning as Adley. Brinley Bailey.
I think it's sweet. I'm not sure what you expect. You need to give in. He pulls into the hospital parking lot as raindrops land on the windshield.
I should give in to what you want?
I'm the one who will be torn open for her to come into this world. I feel like a jerk using the "I'm the one giving birth" card because I witnessed Austin's guilt over his helplessness during our fertility treatments. He would have taken those shots for me if he could. He was so hesitant to inject me where I was already bruised and tender. The path to parenthood hasn't been easy for either of us, but I'm starting to panic. I want our baby girl to have a name before she arrives in this world.
Seriously? That's your reasoning that I should be okay naming our daughter Brinley?
He gets out of the Jeep and I open my door, holding my stomach as I lower myself to the ground. Austin's hand wraps around my arm and helps me. I don't see how we're going to come to a compromise, I say, sighing. He reaches into the back of the truck and hands me the Lake Starlight rain jacket he wears during baseball season.
Put this on.
I put it on as the raindrops become bigger. Car after car pulls into the hospital parking lot behind us. The Baileys and their significant others all file out of their cars and make their way into the hospital. Did you know it was supposed to storm? I ask Sedona, who seemed a little down since she returned to town. No. She's about as easy to talk to as Austin lately. I'm in first, Grandma Dory says, pushing through all of us to get to the nurse's station. The nurse stands and speaks loudly enough that we can all hear her. Savannah's in labor and delivery. You can go to the waiting room up there. We all wait by the elevators, having to go up in groups. Thankfully, Austin and I don't end up on the same one. Better to allow us to cool off about this name thing. How are you feeling? I ask Brooklyn. I'm good, but Savannah going into labor has made me anxious to have our baby. But my due date is after you guys. I think I'll be the last. She frowns. I run my hands over my stomach. Yeah, Dr. Baldwin told me I was probably at least another week or more out. The elevator dings and Wyatt holds the doors open for Brooklyn and me to step through. Right as we step out, a cramp hits my stomach and I stop. You okay, Holly? Brooklyn asks. I massage my stomach and straighten my back when the cramp disappears. Yeah, I think something might not agree with me from the shower. I've had horrible heartburn. Brooklyn and I continue to talk about our ailments from pregnancy on the way to the waiting room. Grandma Dory heads to the nurse's station and is soon escorted down the hallway to Savannah's room. The kids all circle around the toys, playing while my mom and Uncle Brian watch them. My mom can't wait for her first grandchild to be born. She's agreed to decrease her hours at the diner to watch our daughter for us once I go back to work in the fall. Everyone finds a seat, but before I can sit, another cramp grips my stomach, and I blow out a breath.
Halls,
Austin says, at my side immediately, his hand on my back.
What's wrong?
All eyes land on me. Nothing, just something I ate. He leads me to a chair, and I sit for a few minutes before another gripping pain that's worse than any menstrual cramp I've ever felt hits me.
I'm getting the doctor,
Austin says, heading to the nurse's station. I'm fine. I wave him off. I was just at the doctor. They're probably those Braxton Hicks things. Before he returns with a nurse in a wheelchair, I've got Phoenix on one side and Harley on the other, both of their hands gripping mine. I hate to tell you this, but I don't think these are Braxton Hicks, Harley says. We'll just check you out. No harm in that, a nurse says, helping me into a wheelchair. An hour and a half later, sweat is pouring down my face, my legs are in stirrups, and there's some Doogie Howser look-alike between my legs. I groan as pain rips through my belly. I need an epidural. You're too far along. Come on, Holly. You're almost there, the nurse says. My mom brushes the hair off my forehead and smiles at me. You can do this. Austin looks pale and his hand is clammy in mine. I'm not sure either of us thought it would happen this fast.
One more push and your baby's head will be out,
the doctor says. I look at Austin. I'm tired. He bends down and kisses my cheek, gripping my hand.
One more push and you can name our daughter whatever you want. Brimey, Adley, Rayleigh, whatever.
It's Brinley, and no. A tear slips from my eye. I want us to agree. It has to be mutual.
I'll name the boy when we have our second child,
he says with a sweet smile, his thumb swiping at my tear.
Just one more push.
I whimper and whine, but then an incredible burning sensation between my legs steals my attention, and an intense need to push comes over me. I grab my mom and Austin's hands, pushing as hard as I can. Dr. Hinkle puts up his hand.
Give me a second.
You're kidding, right? I ask, looking at Austin. The urge to push is so strong. She can't just stop, can she? Austin asks. But the doctor says nothing, and I hear no sounds from the baby. Panic wells inside me. Something is horribly wrong. I knew I should have asked for an older and more experienced doctor.
Okay, one more,
he says. Tears stream down my face as I push again, and then the most glorious sound fills the room. Our baby girl crying. My back falls to the bed and my eyes close.
You're kidding me.
Grandma Dory walks into the room as if there are no restrictions here, and if there are, they don't pertain to her. I missed the whole thing while waiting on Savannah, and she hasn't even had one contraction. Congratulations, Mommy, it's a boy. The nurse places my baby in my arms. I stare at Austin, and he stares at me. I'm sorry, what? Our baby is a girl, I say. The nurse opens up the blanket, and sure enough, there's a penis. Nope, that's definitely a boy. But what? I look at Austin. The shock is already stripped from his face, replaced with a cocky smirk.
I guess this means I get to pick the name then.
Chapter 14. Brooklyn. We're all sitting around waiting for news on Savannah when she comes waddling out to the waiting room in a hospital gown. Did Holly already have the baby? We nod. She gives Liam a scathing look as though he has any control over when she'll have the baby. Savannah sits next to me. This is horrible. They have me walking, and if this doesn't work, they're inducing me because my water already broke. We all know how competitive she is, and she would have loved the bragging rights of having her baby first. Who would have guessed that Holly would go into labor so quickly she wouldn't even have time to get an epidural? She deserved a fast birth, Savannah says, her head resting on my shoulder. I'm glad it was easy for her. For sure, I say. The struggle Holly and Austin had to get pregnant is a far cry from Wyatt and me saying, let's go off birth control, and bam, I end up pregnant right away. I'm so grateful it worked out for them. It's a boy, by the way, not a girl, I say. Savannah straightens, looking surprised but pleased. So I'm the only one giving birth to a girl this time, then? I shake my head.
Yes, Sav, you won the Who Can Have a Girl competition.
I've been a bear this entire pregnancy, so much so that I'm surprised Wyatt is still sitting next to me reading a magazine. But these feelings overtake me, and by the time I realize what I said or did, my apologies aren't worth much. I grab his hand. Wyatt glances over at me with surprise but squeezes it. I really did get lucky when he walked into my life. Or when I hit him with a flying projectile, I should say. Without warning, I feel a low leak of fluid escape between my legs. I look down, expecting a puddle similar to what Savannah had, but I don't see anything. A bolt of lightning flashes outside, thunder sounding immediately after. Phoebe runs into Rome's arms and Dion into Harley's, while Callista continues playing on Rome's phone like nothing is going on around her. Even Maverick slides closer to Griffin. This storm is a doozy. Another leak of fluid flows out of me, and I look down again but don't see anything. Savannah's attention shifts to me after watching all the parents tell the kids, it will be okay, it's just a storm. What are you looking at? She asks. I bite my lip and stand. Sure enough, there's a wet spot on the chair. Are you? Savannah says. When I release his hand, Wyatt looks at me and follows my vision to the chair, bolting up.
Did your?
I think so.
Let me go get a nurse.
Wyatt leaves. Savannah's hands go up. You've got to be kidding me. So much for her calm, serene personality where nothing bothers her. The redness in her face is similar to mine these months. The third Bailey baby. Those full moons and storms do it every time, the nurse says, helping me into a wheelchair. Let's go, Liam. Savannah stands and walks fast, trying to keep up with the wheelchair. She has to be ready to come out.
I don't think we should run or anything,
Liam says. Our family cheers us on as we leave to find our room. Turns out, my water has a slow leak. Unlike Savannah, my contractions come right after the doctor fully breaks my water. Drugs, I say to Wyatt when the pain becomes too much.
They said he's coming soon. Wyatt pulls my hand from his shirt. Remember Lamaze, and just focus on one item.
We left the item at home. I don't have my suitcase either. I don't care what I said before. I want the drugs. I moan as all the muscles in my stomach contract. My husband must see how serious I am because he goes off in search of the anesthesiologist. He returns with a doctor other than the one who looks like he could be Maverick's best friend. Is it wrong that the gray around his temples makes me trust him more? Wyatt has to wait in the hallway while I get the epidural. There was a time during the pregnancy when I wanted a natural birth, but I must have been certifiable back then. My deepest regards to the women who choose to do it without drugs, but I don't want to be one of them. By the time Wyatt comes back in, I'm lying back in bed and feeling a little better. Phoenix and Sedona come in to visit me since I'm comfortable now. We can't find Juno, Phoenix says. What? When we all scattered, I saw her in Colton's car, but they never got to the hospital, Phoenix continues. You called her? I ask. Like 10 times. It's either turned off or dead because it goes right to voicemail now, Sedona says. It's not like Juno to miss anything with our family. Even with her struggles after finding out Colton was getting married, she's been there for all of us, planning our baby shower and coming to appointments if our other halves couldn't. Maybe they're hashing out the whole wedding thing. I doubt she's been open to him about her feelings, I say. Wyatt walks in with a drink from the vending machine. I hope so. I worry about them, Sedona says. Grandma Dory joins the party. Savannah is being induced. How are you, sweetie? She scoots Phoenix out of the way to sit on the edge of my bed. I'm good now. The epidural is like a miracle worker. I smile at Grandma Dory with what feels like the first real smile I've given all day. Have Austin and Holly named the baby yet? She shakes her head. That baby will be Baby Bailey for months, knowing those two. We all laugh. Now that it's a boy, do you think they'll use Timothy after Dad? Sedona asks. Grandma Dory shrugs. None of you have to use their names. They're a part of the babies whether you name them after your parents or not. She grabs my hand. I'll go check on your sister and be back. Thanks, Grandma, I say. She's about to leave but stops short of the door. Have any of you seen Juno? We all look at one another. And there's my answer. She leaves the room. Before I can start another conversation with my sisters, the nurse comes in and checks the printout from the machine that shows when I'm contracting. How are you feeling? I'm good, I say, grabbing the cup of ice chips. Right now, you don't feel anything? I shake my head. Should I be? No, it just means you're one of the lucky ones. I'm going to grab the doctor to examine you. Phoenix stands, and that's our cue to leave. Sedona and Phoenix kiss me on the cheek, wish me luck, and leave the room. The doctor comes in, still looking like he just took his medical school exam. Sorry, it's been crazy tonight. They position me in the stirrups again, Wyatt grabbing my hand and staying close to my head. Well, I'd say you're ready, he says. Really? This was easy, I say to Wyatt. The doctor and nurse laugh. You haven't pushed yet. After 9 months of hell, we deserve a break, Wyatt says. As the doctor and nurse prep me to push, I take Wyatt's face in my hands. I'm sorry. You've been so patient and kind when I've been nothing but a pain in the ass. He smiles. Thank you, but I get it. You're growing a baby. I'm glad to see my Brooklyn back these last few hours. I love you. He kisses me. I love you. Ready? The doctor asks, interrupting our moment together. My eyes remain on Wyatt. Ready to be a daddy? He smiles. Yeah. You ready to be a mommy? I'm scared. Me too. But we have each other. That's all we need. He's right. So after one more kiss, he grabs my hand and the nurse stands on my other side. I spend the next 45 minutes pushing until our beautiful baby boy arrives into this world just after 2 a.m. No! Grandma Dory yells, coming into the room as the nurse hands me the baby. I missed this one too. Sorry, I say, beaming with a smile I feel deep down to my soul. Our baby is here. Grandma comes over and looks at him, kisses his forehead, and leaves. I'm going to sit in Savannah's room until that baby comes out. I'm not missing another one. Lance Bailey Whitmore weighs in at 8 pounds and 3 ounces, 10 toes, 10 fingers, and a cone-shaped head covered by a hat. Perfection.
Chapter 15. Liam. Savannah is growing more impatient as the news reaches us that Brooklyn had her baby. "I don't understand," she says. She looks beside herself, and I wish I could give her a definitive answer, but the doctor says that everyone is different. "Knock, knock," Austin says from the doorway. "Congratulations, Daddy," I say, hugging him. "I heard you had a surprise." He runs a hand through his hair. "We did. Turns out Elizabeth is all yours." "If she ever comes out, I can't be that pleasant to stay inside of." Savannah's hands run over her stomach. "Why doesn't she want to come out?" Austin laughs and sits in the chair on the other side of her. "You have been pretty nice during the pregnancy. I'm sure Brooklyn's boy wanted out the minute he saw light." We all laugh. "How is she now that the baby is out?" I ask. He nods. "She's good, back to herself. Lance Bailey Whitmore is the name they chose." Savannah gets that look she gets right before she's going to cry. "She honored them in her own way, huh?" "Without fighting me about Dad's name, yeah." Savannah holds her hand out for his. Sometimes I forget how close they are. They were the oldest when their parents died, and they helped hold the family together. Now that they're both married and all the Bailey kids are adults and on their own, they don't get to interact with one another as much. I excuse myself to give them time together. "I'll be right back. Scream if you think it's time." In the hallway, I pace, not willing to go too far. 15 minutes later, Austin comes out and clasps my shoulder. "Thanks. I just wanted to let her know if she really wanted Elizabeth, I wasn't going to take it away from her." On the bad side, I mentioned a name Holly liked and her eyes lit up. "Sorry, man." He shakes his head and walks down the hall. I walk back into the room. I know Savannah well enough to know that whatever name Austin gave her will be our daughter's name. I don't really have a name preference like Austin did. I just want a healthy baby girl. Whatever we name her will suit her, I'm sure of it. Within reason, of course. "So what's her name?" I ask, resigned. Savannah smiles. "What do you think of Brinley Elizabeth Kelly?" I take my wife's hand and bend down. Right before my lips touch hers, I say, "I think it's beautiful, just like her mommy." We kiss, and I'm ready to climb into bed with her until her teeth nail my bottom lip. I mumble for her to let me go, and she finally does, not before she drew blood. The metallic taste flows down my throat. "Shit, babe, I'm into kinky, but..." She screams and grabs her stomach. "I guess those are the contractions," I say. And like a snap of the fingers, the Savannah I first fell in love with reappears before my eyes. The nurse rushes in and checks the ticker tape thing. "Finally a contraction! Yay!" She does a little cheer, and Sav cuts her a look. Partway through the following 8 hours of labor, Savannah decides she's being tormented with a long birth because she was blessed with a great personality during pregnancy. I tell her that that isn't the case, and this is all part of having a baby. I massage her back, try 5 different positions for her to get comfortable, and she's a trooper. Demanding, but a trooper. The entire Bailey clan hangs out from the first contraction until our baby girl makes her debut. Brinley Elizabeth Kelly comes into this world with a wail of a scream. I expected nothing less. "Finally," Grandma Dory says, falling into the chair beside the bed. "I'm so tired." "You're tired." Savannah, who after crying that she had no energy, keeps peeking to see when they'll bring the baby over to us. "I'm older than you," Grandma Dory says, before kissing her granddaughter's cheek. "Congratulations, sweetie." She smiles at me and leaves the room to grant us some privacy. I've loved Savannah since I was too young to truly know what love was. I thought I couldn't love her any more than I already do, but seeing my daughter in her arms, our daughter, almost breaks me. There's nothing sweeter in life than being with the 2 women who own your whole heart. Savannah mothered her siblings, so it's no surprise to me how nurturing she is as she rocks and soothes Brinley. I crawl into bed with them as we point out that Brinley has my eyes, Savannah's lips, and if we're lucky, my temperament. It'll make the teenage years more bearable. Although it's 11 in the morning, you'd think it's nighttime judging by how dark our hospital room is. Savannah is asleep, and Brinley is in the hospital crib that reminds me of something you'd put a pet turtle in. I try to get comfortable on the vinyl chair in the corner, to no avail. As my eyes close, Brinley whimpers. Knowing I'll never sleep on this thing, I sanitize my hands and pick up my baby girl, cradling her in my arms. She's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. She yawns, and her two small fists open and close, her fingers on one hand wrapping around my finger. My sweet baby girl, I'm your daddy. You should know you're so loved. Your mommy is amazing, and you're lucky to have her. She's probably going to be better at giving you advice, because as far as I'm concerned, you won't be dating anyone until you're at least 30. Her face distorts with another yawn, and her eyes pop open for a moment. Already giving me sass, huh? She falls back asleep. One thing I promise is that I'll make sure you never want for anything. We can't spoil her, Savannah's groggy voice interrupts me. I smile at my wife and look back down. I should clarify, you'll never want for food, shelter, clothing, and especially love. You'll always be loved, probably so much you'll feel suffocated. Savannah gives a tired laugh. But once again, your mommy is right. We can't spoil you, because I won't have an asshole as a kid. Liam. I chuckle and place a gentle kiss on Brinley's forehead. Tell mommy you don't want to be an asshole. Seriously, she says. I'm not sure we're going to get any sleep, because as I slide into bed with Savannah, we stare in awe at what we made together. A life. She's the most beautiful baby the world has ever seen, and I'd like to see someone argue that point with me. Chapter 16. Wyatt. Brooklyn's asleep, and I have Lance in my arms. The 9 months of Brooklyn's crankiness was worth it as I admire the faces he makes and the wrinkled skin around his wrists and fingers. My parents are ready to travel to Lake Starlight on their private plane as soon as the storm passes. I could tell by my mom's voice on the phone that she's upset she missed the birth. When we first found out we were having a boy, I wasn't all that excited about the idea. Throughout my upbringing, I witnessed that girls all had the opportunity to do as they wished, whereas boys had to worry about the family legacy. My dad is better with me now, but I can tell he still wishes I'd wanted to follow in his footsteps and take over the Whitmore hotels. Now he'll probably die in his office because he won't trust anyone to take it over. He shouldn't fool himself into thinking he would have trusted me either. I never would have done the job he wanted. We're entirely different. I promise you can be whatever you want, and I'll support you, I whisper to my little guy. I missed it all. Juno stands in the doorway. Her hair has been thrown into a ponytail, but loose strands hang in every direction, and her mascara and eyeliner are smeared. She's wearing yoga pants and a flannel button-down that looks way too big for her. Come and meet your nephew. I stand so she can sit down. She smiles at me. Congratulations. Thanks. When she sits, I place Lance in her arms, and her smile grows. He's so beautiful. What's his name? Lance Bailey Whitmore, I say. Love it. I lean against the wall and watch him wrap his fingers around her finger. She looks at me like she wants to thank me. Did you pass out? I ask. I overheard Phoenix and Sedona telling Brooklyn they didn't know where she was. I saw her leave with Colton, too, but first I saw Juno throw up at the side of the building before Colton helped her into his truck. I might have had a lot to drink. I've been where she is. Alcohol was my go-to when things went bad with my dad and my family before I met Brooklyn. Want to talk about anything? She shakes her head. No. What happened to Colton's fiancé? I press. Juno swallows, and the smile that was plastered to her face disappears. She had to go into work, so she left in the middle of the party. And Colton took you home? She nods. You two clear anything up? She shrugs. That's a no. Just then, a shadow is cast by the light coming through the doorway. I can't believe all three of you guys had your babies. Colton gives me a handshake and a congratulations. He's not wearing his feelings as openly as Juno, but he doesn't look much better than her. Holly, Brooklyn, then Savannah. Juno chuckles softly. Savannah must have been pissed. She had the hardest labor, I'll tell you that. It was like hours, I say. Juno stands and hands the baby to me. I should check on the others. Tell Brooklyn I'll come by later after I shower and don't smell like a distillery. I will. I sit back down, watching Colton's hand move to the small of Juno's back. He retracts it right away. They shut the door as I hear Brooklyn stir. Hey, you, Brooklyn softly says. Is he hungry? No, he's sleeping. Juno and Colton were just here. She smiles. Oh, I missed them. Where were they? They didn't say, but it looks like they both just woke up. Her eyebrows raise. Yeah, you might want to quiz her when she comes back tonight. She nods, and her eyes drift shut again. Mommy is tired. You wore her out. Lance doesn't move. Let's hope when she's pregnant again, we get nice Mommy. I raise his arm and give him a high five. I love you, I say, before kissing his forehead. I can't speak for Brooklyn, but this eternal happiness and love for someone I just met makes what we share even sweeter. Chapter 17. Austin. So, I ask Holly, staring at the piece of paper taped outside our boy's crib that reads Bailey Boy. She hems and haws. You can pick the boy's name if you want. I laugh and sit on the bed with her, wrapping my arm around her and holding her to my body. We can compromise. You good with Timothy as the middle name? After talking with Savannah, I feel as though both of our firstborns should honor our parents. Let's look at the book, I suggest. We'd highlighted some boy names before we found out we were having a girl. Maybe there's one in there we can agree on. I dig out her book and curl back up with her on the bed. We scan page after page of yellow and blue highlights, searching for one in green. Knowing us, we won't like it now. Cash? She looks at me after seeing what I highlighted. Don't judge, it's strong. Uh-huh. She flips the page. Crew? I chuckle. And you were on me with Riley, she says. I say nothing, grabbing the book and fanning the pages to see if I can spot one. What about Huck? She never highlighted it, but I did. Sounds a little too outdoorsy. Then I flip forward and the book opens to the E's. It's like one name is glowing and all the other names fade on the page because it's highlighted in green. Easton? I ask. She doesn't immediately say no. Easton Timothy Bailey? I say. Her gaze veers over to the bassinet. I like it. Enough to name him that? She nods slowly as though she's not completely convinced. Are you sure? I ask. Yeah, I love it. Easton Bailey. Sounds like a baseball name, I say with a grin. Then something dawns on her and she tilts her head. Austin Bailey, you did not just fool me. I laugh and kiss her temple. You really are a baseball coach's wife. She took a little long on the uptake. I might have highlighted because it's a popular baseball brand, but she highlighted it for her own reasons. Why didn't you pick Rawlings? She teases. Rawlings, Bailey? I shake my head. Easton is better. I pick up Easton and hand him to her. Does he look like an Easton to you? She laughs. Regardless of the baseball brand, I do love the name, but you will not tell him stories that he's named after the brand. It's a great story to tell once he makes it to the majors. She gives me a stern look. You will not push him to be a baseball player. I hold up my hands. He can be whatever he wants. I slide in next to her, and my baby boy wraps his hand around my finger. As long as he's happy, I'll teach him to follow his heart, because your heart leads you to your dreams. She leans back and kisses my cheek. I love you, Austin Bailey. Nothing could ever be better than this moment right here. I love you, I say, and we both look at our little boy. You need to sleep. I can't stop looking at him. I still can't believe after everything we went through that he's here with us. It was a hard road to get this little guy, but worth it 1,000,000 times over, Holly says. That's the truth. You're not upset that he's not a girl? I ask. A tear leaks from her eye. I'm so happy, I keep waiting for something bad to happen. Oh, Holly, be happy. You deserve it after everything you did. Your body and your mind took a beating, but you kept standing back up. He's your reward. Cherish this moment. She snuggles into my body, and we watch Easton coo, yawn, hiccup, and stretch, completely amazed. Life has never been sweeter.
Chapter 18. Nurse Katie. 3 days later. The waiting room is finally cleared out, I say, locking the break room door.
Does that mean all the Baileys have been discharged?
Dr. Hinkle tears off his scrubs.
Sure does. Thank God. Tell Dr. Baldwin she owes me like 10 favors. That grandma alone is worth 5. She kept following me around.
He lifts my shirt and makes quick work of my bra. I chuckle as we fall back on the twin bed that's as comfortable as a prison cot. Why don't we stop talking about the Baileys now? I say, opening my thighs to make room for him. We've got about 5 minutes to make this happen.
Good idea.
A loud crash sounds as something hits the floor, and we both look over the edge of the bed to find his iPad open to Lake Starlight Buzzwheel. You're really getting into this town, huh? I say.
There was a business card for the blog on one of their charts, so I figured I'd check it out.
My hand slides to the back of his head, and I bring his lips down to mine. Lake Starlight Buzzwheel. Lake Starlight is raining babies. All 3 of our Bailey moms-to-be have delivered healthy babies. Technically, the town gained another Bailey, a Whitmore, and a Kelly. I think I speak for all of us when I say, let's hope that Kelly girl doesn't have the wild streak her father had. Holly Bailey set a record for delivering Easton Timothy Bailey in an hour and a half. He was perfection at 8 pounds 5 ounces and 21 inches long. Brooklyn Bailey Whitmore is reported to have said her labor was a breeze. In the early morning hours, Lance Bailey Whitmore was born. Another big baby, weighing in at 8 pounds 3 ounces and 21 inches long. I think there's going to be some wrestling between Easton and Lance in the years to come. Lastly, Savannah Bailey Kelly was the first to have her water break, which broke up the baby shower, but last to deliver. Her fiery temper didn't go unnoticed as the doctors had to eventually induce her. At 9 a.m. exactly, Brinley Elizabeth Kelly came into this world. Just as beautiful as her mommy, but weighing more than each of her cousins. 9 pounds 8 ounces and 22 inches long. I wouldn't be buying any of them newborn clothes if I were you. All families are happy and healthy at home, and I'm thankful I'm not with them because I enjoy my sleep. In other news, it was reported that Juno had too much to drink at the baby shower and didn't make it to the hospital until the morning after all 3 babies were born. Someone sent in this anonymous picture of Colton helping Juno into her place after the baby shower, and this person also swears they didn't see him leave any time soon after. So what exactly transpired after he helped her inside? Then again, Grandma Dory was overheard talking to Juno, Kingston, and Sedona at Brood Awakenings a few days ago, saying they're all she's got left. So maybe Juno is still on the market. Is it possible that Juno and Colton crossed the lines from best friends to something more? I suppose, but where would that leave Colton's fiancée, Bridget? Only time will tell. Until next time, XO, Buzzwheel. You've been listening to Operation Bailey Babies, a Bailey series